as ghetto as it seems, I could not wait for the day for him to come home to me on a Saturday night. I was in love with the hype. I was in love with the height, 6 feet tall. I was in love with his slim, hard Levi jeans, dark wash, his flat stomach and boxers that read Calvin Klein around the waist, his Timberland boots, camel color, his Burberry trench and Burberry t-shirt, his gold chain with a charm flooded with diamonds, his deep waves and diamond earring which accented his brown skin and beautiful teeth. With him, it was the usual. Saturdays was off limits and were not to be bothered. Grinding and running was all he knew. For months, I was watching him get in and out of the Range Rover on random days, but he never came home to me on a Saturday. And then one day, it happened. The day he had hustled so hard and made more money in one day than he had made in his whole life. It started at 8 a.m. that morning. He sat in his Range Rover and made phone calls from 8 a.m. till noon. He made it happen. He had closed his store during coronavirus because in-person sales had plummeted. And then it happened. He checked his sales from online on his online store, and somehow 5,000 orders for tennis shoes were placed for fresh Jordans, Nikes, and other tennis shoes. Astonished by the numbers of sales, he pulled his computer out from the dashboard, opened it, and began to work. By the time he finished, it was well past noon. He closed his laptop, went to the chicken spot, and when he got home, he checked his laptop again. Astonished by what he saw, he hopped back into the Range Rover and proceeded to finish the 8,000 sales that he had overlooked. By the time he had finished with his warehouse sales, it was past 7 p.m. That day, he had made more money in one day than he had made in his whole entire life. He checked his phone. A girl named Kelly had texted him to come over for sex. He pulled up to her house with his gun cocked because her neighborhood was dangerous. He had never been to her house before. When he stepped out the car, he seen two guys come from behind the bushes. One of the men shot at him but missed. He blasted back and hopped back in the Range Rover. Someone had tried to rob him, and he knew it. His heart pounded. He panicked. Then suddenly he thought of me. He thought of safety. He thought of real love. Tears rolled down his eyes as he thought about how valuable I was. And at that moment, he did not want to lose me. He rushed to my home, took off his Timberland boots, and changed into his sweatpants and laid on the couch. I asked him, "What's wrong?" And he replied and said nothing, that he just wanted to show me how much he loved me. He opened his hand and laid $5,000 on the table and replied, "Please look for a house for us." And that night it happened. He had come home to me on a Saturday night.